Welcome back to Buzzworthy Businesses on Buzz TV. I'm your co-host Mike White, along with my friend John Heyman, and today we are interviewing Daniel Burstein with MECLABS, talking about all the amazing things that him and his company have done, not only for our community, but nationwide. So, welcome to see you. Welcome again. Good to see you.
Good seeing you again, Mike. Nice to meet you, John.
Good to meet you, Daniel.
So, talking about what's important in terms of giving back. And we're going to be talking not-for-profits about how businesses can support not-for-profits in their communities and help them expand. Do you have any experience with that?
So we work with a nonprofit called 10 by 3. It's a really unique nonprofit because they go to these developing countries, rural villages, people live in deep poverty. They teach them a skill. They teach them how to make these crafts. Then it's on them to sell them here. Major retailers, e-commerce, and then the people get paid greater than a fair wage. And with that, they're taught how to build their own businesses. That's why it's called 10 by 3. They build 3 businesses in their community. So it's about using marketing, right? Which, when we hear about marketing, right, sometimes people, it's a dirty word, they don't like hearing it. But it's about using marketing to do those things we want to do in the world, do some good.
So how did you get involved with that organization? You're in Jacksonville, they're in St. Louis.
So our founder, Flint McLaughlin, goes way back with the owner, Teresa. And Teresa actually started in Jacksonville. I think she worked some TV stations here as broadcast journalism before she moved to Jacksonville. But they go way back, probably 30 years. So in Jacksonville is where they started.
So Daniel, what countries are these products coming from?
For example, like Bangladesh.
Okay.
I'm not sure. There's some other
Guatemala,
countries in Africa. Well, I think a lot more African countries where they're poor. But again, the more the focus on that is these are kind of rural areas with developing countries, and they're building those areas up with entrepreneurship, with business, right? And some of these things that we are told are not involved with nonprofits, right? We're told that charity and nonprofit are separate, but we're using these skills because the same thing you would do to build a business, provide value, right? Provide value. That value comes before anyone ever buys something. Some people call that marketing, right? And it comes after they buy it. That's the product or service. So by providing that value, by teaching these skills, then these people are able to build their own businesses in their local communities and do service. I'll give you one quick example that Teresa was telling me about. And this is all Teresa's good work. Played a very minor role in helping her a bit with her marketing. But it was a community, and so she was able to sell for these beautiful baskets. They sent me one before. And then from that, they built a little business, a micro business in their area where they didn't have electricity, where they put some solar panels on a little building where people could charge cell phones. So now they could do cell phones because they had just from those solar panels and that charging some electricity. And this all started with being able to build these handiworks, these being sold, and now that's coming to that community. That people in that community are doing for themselves because of that.
It allows them to take those products outside the community to a global scale. They're doing great work anyway. You're putting the tech behind it and the marketing behind it.
And sometimes they're already talented, correct? I mean, you don't have to teach them how to do these things often. They just need a fair wage, fair trade concept in their business.
Right, the part that needs to be taught is the global commerce, right? Like how would you, which many entrepreneurs need to know as well. Like how do you make it into a saleable product? In fact, so Teresa, the founder, is in the MECLABS AI Guild, where we teach how to use artificial intelligence for businesses and nonprofits for how to grow their businesses. And she was showing us, she was trying to figure out the next product. And so she worked with Midjourney, which, if you don't know, it's an artificial intelligence program that does design. And she was brainstorming with Midjourney, right? And saying, instead of like these baskets, what else could we make? And giving them the raw materials. And she came up with a really new cool product in the pet industry. I'm not sure if I can say what it is yet, but it was really cool to see how, you can take things that we know like technology, artificial intelligence, marketing, use that to create these products. So there's a market for it that then helps people build their own businesses all around the world.
Yeah.
Is MECLABS, so are you guys an incubator as well? Give the audience a little background on who MECLABS is and the services you guys offer.
Sure, we're not an incubator per se, but what we do is we help businesses, we help marketers better understand their customers so they can grow their own business, right? Just like we were talking about with that nonprofit. So MECLABS Institute's been around for, since the late 90s, the turn of the century. It's kind of a funny term, right? Very early in digital marketing. Our founder, Flint McLaughlin, came up with these patented methodologies on how to improve the likelihood of conversion, which a conversion is just really any action you ask someone to take. Whether that's a purchase, whether that's, hey, to watch this, that's a conversion, right? And based on all these different marketing experiments we've run, right? Real world tests where people are in a real situation where they're deciding on a purchase, they don't even know it's a test. We try these different messages and we understand how can we better communicate value. And so with that, now what we've taken is these methodologies on how to communicate value. We have something new called the AI Guild, Artificial Intelligence. And we work with entrepreneurs, nonprofits, big companies, small companies, and we show them how to take these methodologies that we've been using for decades since, again, turn of the century, how to compare that, how to use that with artificial intelligence, right? So we can be more efficient and more effective in delivering value and communicating our value to customers before they purchase. And we've created our own artificial intelligence as well to help them with that.
It's amazing for all the work. Getting involved in not-for-profits, even what you've seen. Why should a business partner and help local not-for-profits?
Well, quite frankly, they have the resources. Yeah. Nonprofits do not have the resources. They have a great vision, they've got a great message, but they don't have the resources. And sometimes they don't have the intelligence of doing the business properly, effectively, doing it faster, better, and cheaper. And you guys bring that to them.
Right, yeah. And that's really, again, with any business that we work with or that any outside consultant would work with. So the challenge for that nonprofit, as I mentioned, they do amazing work, but they go over to Africa. They see the help that's going on in the communities. And that's like any entrepreneur, right? Like Mike, even you're working 40, 60, 80, 100 hours a week, right? Pouring all your treasure into your company. It's very easy to have this blind spot where we understand the value we deliver and we'll just assume that customers do, even when we know we shouldn't. When we're putting a message out there, we just assume they'll know that value. And that's why it's so important to make sure we understand and communicate the perceived value to customers, right? Customers have to perceive that value, whether it's for a nonprofit, whether it's a donor, whether it's someone who's using the nonprofit services, whether it's a business, whether it's their customers. We have to make sure that they're perceiving the value that we deliver before we can expect them to act. Right?
Well,
that's all marketing is.
Right.
I appreciate all you guys do for the community, and even with your AI and everything your company is offering the customer, continue to do great work. So thank you again for coming on.
Hey, great to be here.
Thank you, Daniel. Great to meet you.
Thanks, John.
To find out more about MECLABS and all the amazing things they're doing for their customers and their community, visit us at iwannabuzz.com. We'll see you next time on Buzzworthy Businesses.